Good afternoon. This is Sara reporting for Smoky Mountain Times. We are here today at the town of Bryson City Water Treatment Plant with Superintendent of Water Treatment and Operator in Responsible Charge Lab Supervisor, Russell Ball. Russell is going to review the prompt steps that were taken when the water line punctured behind Valley Village Shopping Center last week and how the treatment process works from Deep Creek to your faucet.
We'll start with the leak. Once we saw that we had some results that were a little bit lower and a little bit higher on our residuals and some of our test results, we started testing the river crossing to see if there was indeed a problem with it. It did show that there was a leak, and that brought on the boil advisory. And after a few days, we were able to identify that we could indeed run with just one river crossing, and we were able to shut that problem crossing down and get water to everybody in the system within reason. Our pressures are good, everything's holding, and we're able to move enough water get it where it needs to be. But we weren't sure we could at first.
Russell, how does the water treatment process work?
Okay, all of our water is sourced from Deep Creek. We have an intake that pumps water directly from the stream, and we sample at each step throughout the process. Each one of these taps is a direct source from a separate step. We pump it to a clarifier where it's pre-treated, it's pre-settlement. It comes in, we inject our chemicals for coagulation, disinfection, and all the rest of the process. It goes through our filter system. Once it's through our filters, it goes into a clear well, and from there we pump it into the distribution system.
What's coming out of these faucets?
These are different raw points in that treatment process. This is the raw water, filtered. This is the finished product, and this is in the middle of the filters, or clarified.
Can you explain why this cup over here to the right is brown?
Yes, this brown that you're seeing is an orthophosphate that we feed to sequester lead and copper. That's our primary reason for feeding that. We adjust the pH and feed that chemical in particular just so that the water does not come into contact with lead and copper pipes in the distribution system. It actually creates a very thin film that keeps that separation.
What's going on out here?
This is the filter bay. This is where the main filtration takes place. It's very noisy, but we have two filter units. Each one's capable of 350 gallons per minute. Our plant runs about 700 gallons per minute, and it's capable of 1 million gallons a day on a really good day. If we don't have backwashing flush. The filters are cleaned with pre-treated water that we've already treated, and underneath the building itself is a 100,000 gallon clear well.
100,000 gallons?
Yeah, 100,000 gallons.
How much water are you pumping?
We are pumping around 500,000, give or take 50,000 right now. Our normal day is around 550,000 a day. These two samples are what you expect or what you want to have happen. These are completely clear. They show no color change or shift. This is a raw water sample. The yellow indicates that there's coliform, and any clear sample cells are no growth whatsoever. But we had a lot of rain this past week, so it is up slightly. But when you blacklight the sample, the phosphorescent cells indicate that there is E. coli. So the raw water is something you never want to drink untreated or unfiltered. And it's pretty much across the board. I wouldn't drink from any surface water without pre-treatment.
Is the water coming out of the faucet safe to drink and
Yes.
use?
When we're done with it, it would have to be distilled to be higher quality. So it's the entire process removes any of the bacteria, and we're leaving here with a good residual, and the residuals are holding throughout the system, so we know there's not any demand working on it in excess.
What numbers today? Can we see that?
Today we have 1.32 NTU coming off of our clarifier. What's the raw turbidity right now?
3.6.
3.6 NTU coming out of the creek. By the time we get it to this point, it's down to 1.26. And our finished water that we're sending to town is 0.05.
Chlorine 1.2.
And we have a 1.6 chlorine sample. So everything's good in the world.
This is also a certified lab. What am I looking at over here?
This is our incubator. This is where we put our samples, and you bring them up to 35 degrees Celsius for 24 hours. This is where we store all of our bacteriological cultures for quality control and for checks. And everything else here is just a big part of it. We actually are pretty proud of that. Autoclave. This gives us the ability to do a quantitative sample for customers if they need a bacteriological count instead of just a presence absence, just a straight bottle sample.
What could have caused the water line to puncture?
Age, potentially anything with the haline that came through could have caused damage to that crossing, but probably more related to its age. And even a small leak, like a 1/16 of an inch pinhole, is up to $11,000 a month, and a 1/4 inch leak, which is not that big of a leak, almost 500,000 gallons per month. And these are under relatively low pressure, so these are like 60 psi, so a lot of our system is 100 plus.
Russell, when were these pipes put in?
I think the river crossing was installed somewhere near the 40s, maybe as late as the 50s, but somewhere along in there, 1940s, 1950s. So they've paid for themselves several times.
Are we looking at putting in new lines?
Yes, this is going to potentially be a river bore. We're going to put a new water line underneath the river. That, if I understand correctly, is going to be a 12-inch, and it's going to be HDPE, which has walls about 2 inches or 3 inches thick, and it should last for a very, very long time.
What is the current size of the water line?
That line was a 6-inch, I believe, which is a little bit small for what we actually needed it to do anyway. And with the age and the undersize, this is going to be good for the hydraulics in the system.